helping all the business automations on the back end, doing one-on-one and mentorships, and something I really love to do. And I am here with Lisa Clooney from Thriving Brand. And she is right now, after 30 years of having her own design agency, working with all these big companies. Lisa, you're focusing on coaching midlife women to build their personal brands and just really helping them get that clarity, confidence, and creativity. So, welcome, Lisa.
Well, yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. So, Lisa, I want to start with your why. With working with all these big businesses for so long, and then kind of going more to helping these women help find their voices. Why did you pivot from one to the other?
Well, basically, I was in a mentally abusive marriage for quite a long time. I built my business up. He didn't like it. Got criticised. I had so much self doubt, even though. But my branding and design was my escapism because I'd always done it. It's always been my passion. So that kept me going in some ways. But I didn't have a voice. I didn't know who I was. I had so much self doubt. So got divorced. Finally got the courage to do it, and did positive psychology for me. And then when I started networking again and getting the confidence, the amount of women that I met at midlife were frightened to putting themselves out there. They had the self doubt, not that they'd come from abusive marriages, but they felt as though they were invisible. They felt as though they didn't have a voice. And I could totally relate to that. So that's how Thriving Brand was born, because of helping women to have a voice again, because I understood what they were going through. But it's a noisy world, and you have to be a personal brand now. You have to be showing who you are to be authentic to win the work. So it's getting the process, the strategy that I've done for years, but building that in to give them the confidence to put themselves out there as well in the right process, not being overwhelmed and pulling them back sometimes, because sometimes they are running before they can walk.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Isn't it so true that usually the best people that we can serve is a prior version of ourselves because we know them so intimately and we can be there. We understand, like you said, like you know what that feels like. So you know the things that you learn to get yourself out of those difficult situations. You know what it takes to put yourself out when you don't feel confident and get in front of the camera or put up a website or just contact people. It can be really difficult.
Yeah, it's and you have to. I know it's. I don't know if it's a British saying. It's like put your big girl pants on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with all social media now, people forget about you. I mean, it used to be sort of 7 to 20 touch points. It can be up to 40 now for somebody to remember you. It's
Wow.
ridiculous because we all scroll. We're very bored now. So our attention plan is rubbish. So we don't read to the same extent. We want fast information. So you've got to show up and stand out a lot more than you've ever had to do.
So true. I mean, it's always curious because a lot of social media, it feels like it's for younger generation, not those of us. I mean, I'm turning 49 very soon, and it's always a struggle to like, how do I get my authentic voice and create that brand in a way that's truly me? And I'm not like a hot young girl in a bikini because the truth is, every time I go to Instagram, the things that have the most attention are usually good looking people, and it's like it's not the angle that I'm going to come from. It's not the angle that most of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s are probably going to want to come from, right? There's another way. So I'd really love to hear from you. Let's say there is someone in midlife, 40, 50, 60s, and they're like, I have knowledge, I have wisdom to give, I'm here to serve, and they don't really know how to get that voice out there. What are some, wisdom that you can give people?
But they've got to know it's really clear messaging is key
Yeah.
to knowing who your audience is, what are their not that you've got to know their pain points. But at the end of the day, you've got to show that your results that you're going to do for those
Mm.
clients and actually get into their head. Go, because if you can talk to them and you're relatable, then you're going to attract the right people. Yeah, it's a very noisy world, but if you're talking and they see it and they think, oh, this person is understands me, then you're going to get a connection. People want, we've got AI and all that out there now, but people really want that human connection more than ever. So we don't want to talk to a robot. We want to talk to a person that understands us and can relate to us. So that is being more human, being more authentic, and showing who you are. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what age you are, even if you're a youngster, they still have issues about putting themselves out there
Mm.
because they see all these beautiful people. But people, I think, are becoming wise to that now. I don't think influencers are as big as they used to be. You know, people want to know the truth. They don't want the BS anymore, and they see through it. So just be you.
Do you think, like, coming from that brand strategy, is that also for what you're doing, is it mostly, when I think brand strategy, it could be different things. Like one of them is logos, fonts, colors, websites. Another part is like the messaging associated with that. And then some other parts could be brand strategy when and how it gets out there, like in that social medias and YouTubes and things of that sort. Um, I'm curious, like, do you think someone my age, turning 50, that it's even worth putting all this energy to be seen in those social media spaces? Because, like, from my experience, I put a lot of time and energy into it, and I don't think I got much of any results, with clients coming in through that. The only thing that I see it potentially doing is helping build sort of maybe authority, but I don't see that driving people signing up for stuff in particular. It's almost like just a touch point. And, I'm really wondering if that is actually a worthwhile thing to do. Everyone, thinks that maybe that's the way to go. But like for me, when I'm doing, I just did a talk last night for 50, 60 people, and it was a lot of authenticity on perfectionism and feeling not enough. And it was just like sharing. And I had way more people come that were just like, wow, I'm interested in doing something with you because they got to feel me in that person. So I'm almost wondering, like, is this social media really the best use of our time? Or is it like start creating meetup groups once a week and providing value, or, having like a free community or a school community, or maybe different ways? Do you have any insight to that from
Yeah,
your
you should
experience?
have different ways. You should have different touch points
Yeah,
because you think the algorithms now in social media, they're totally against you.
yeah.
So but you still have to, you want to make sure with your brand, like your logo or your website, it has to be all very, people know it's you, and whatever touch point they go to, they know it's you or your brand. So the colors, the fonts, you don't want to completely change them all the time. You want to keep to a set of fonts or set of colors because people will relate. Like I'm very orange and blue. My logos, everything I do is very orange and blue. So that is my orange is fire, it's warmth, it's what I represent, but the strategy is the navy blue.
Mm.
So, but people recognize my things on my Instagram and my website because of those colors. They know that they represent me, but the fonts, everything is my company. So that's important because if you're saying the right things, they're going to stop and scroll because, oh, it's Lisa Clooney. she's saying
Mm.
this. Where if it's a mixture of colours, nobody knows where they stand. We all like, not regimental, but we all like to know where we are. You
Mm.
know, we don't want to tie you into like a box, you know, a rigid way. But it's people start recognise we'd like familiarity. It brings trust when we see things all the time that's very familiar to us. It's like if McDonald's suddenly did their logo in blue. You know, we would be like, "Oh my God, what's hell has happened?" But we automatically know them because of their yellow. You know, so it's certain things that we don't want to shock too much. We want that familiarity because people like that. That's how you build trust. But educate as well. You've got to educate. You've got to show your experience. I mean, the amount of women that I work with, and they don't realise how much experience and how much wisdom they've got. And it's dragging that out of them, saying, "Yeah, no, could you not realise this?" And they don't realise their worth to the same extent. So that's what I want to drag out of them, but then build a brand that is showing it's aligning, their business should align with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, okay, so someone's starting out, they're building the brand, they have their colors, their fonts, etc. What else is crucial? What do they need to start thinking about?
They shouldn't even be thinking of that at the beginning of starting a business. They want to know their why, their what, their how, um, and the people that they're serving. What do they actually do? And they want to do that messaging in one sentence that's really simple, that's not overcomplicated, that people can relate to. That is where they should be starting. Once they know all that, then they can start building the visual brand. Because if if they start doing the visuals first and it's not aligning with what their business is about, they'll be redoing it again in a year's time. Your brand will always evolve as your business grows, but what is the point? It's an expensive thing to do a good brand design, so you're wasting your money if you haven't got the foundations and the basics there first. So do that first. Do that in diligence. What you want to do with your business, what your goals are, who are the clients you want to speak to. Then you can really concentrate on your brand visually.
Amazing. Get your why down. Get your
Yeah.
one statement. Get your how down. Something, Lisa, that I've always struggled with in my branding is, I'm high ADHD. I've had 22 businesses over the last 30 years. I don't know how to work on one thing at a time. I'm building this WhatsApp application. I'm doing mentorship for women. I'm doing masterminds. I'm speaking on stages. I'm helping people uncover their soul purpose. I'm just kind of like, and like each of those things represents years of work, right? And
Mm.
I've also created the first framework for human connection. I have a book that's coming out, and I paused that because I'm more excited about some of these other things. But all these things are important to me. And it's like, as a human being, we're so multifaceted. Yeah, I can't tell you how often I hear from strategists and branding that it's like, you have to just say the same thing over and over again, basically. If you want people to actually move towards you, you have to say the same thing. You need to have like the one thing that you're good at, right? And I've struggled with that. And I'm curious if you have any, thoughts on that or any advice on that. Do you think that's true, from your 30 years of experience?
Well, I've got to hold my hands up. I'm creative, so I have so many ideas in my
Yeah.
head that I have to be. I've got a business coach because I need reining in myself. I can be so strategic and everything with my clients, but with my business, I want to take over the world.
You want
I'm like you.
everything.
I've written a book. I've not finished it. And so we're all, as entrepreneurs, we're all like that. I think we always want the next thing, but I'm having to rein myself in because sometimes I feel overwhelmed thinking, right, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm thinking, no, step back. And that's what I do find with my clients is they rush in when they're, especially when they're first starting a business, they're so excited. And when it doesn't happen, that's when the deflation happens. But any business takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. So that's when I'm trying to pull them back and say, right, get the foundations right first, then you can start building it. Because if you do too many things, we never finish it.
Yeah.
So, but I am, I'm saying this, but sometimes I'm just as bad. But I will hold my hands up and I will say to my clients, you're human. We all make mistakes. We all have fears, but those fears and mistakes we learn from. So that is the process. But yeah, as entrepreneurs, we have got so many things in our heads. But I am now trying to put a process to try and finish things off before I move on to the next thing. I do find that extremely hard. I'm like you know, but I know I'll never finish it if I don't do it that way.
Yeah. Like, so I guess the question is like, what happens when there's these entrepreneurs that aren't specifically in one lane? Like, they're not an EFT person. They're not a, you know, positive psychologist. They do positive psychology and EFT or whatever it is, Does that really, what does that do for your audience and your messaging? Is it that terrible or is it okay? Or is there a way to just say, listen, I do a couple things, or do you feel
Yeah,
like
but
that's
I do.
really the
You know,
brand?
I I do the brand strategy, but I do positive psychology. They're two really
Mm,
different things, but they all interline. And I think if you can connect those different things that will help your client, then it isn't. They might, on paper they're two different things, but actually they bring the best into your business. So add all those things. I still design. I still can't let go of my design. I still love it. But that is all these elements that are in my business are all probably quite separate, but they all work together to help a business owner develop their business and them. So, I think it's a good thing, to have different elements and different parts of your business.
mm. From a branding perspective, is it really the best is just to hit one message over and over again for long periods of time?
Yeah, because people don't listen. So
Yeah.
they don't listen, and you're not seen, especially on social media, you're not seen. I mean, I follow some people and I might not, it doesn't come up on my scroll, and then all of a sudden it comes up again.
Mm,
So you that's what I do find. Some of my clients thinking, well, people will be fed up with hearing that what I'm saying, but half the people on your followers haven't seen it.
mm,
So you might be sick to death of saying that message, but half those people won't. And you don't have to say exactly the same. You do it in different ways. Um, you can do a reel on it. You can do um, a post. You can do a blog on it. You can do one topic that is, like say websites. From if I'm talking about SEO or websites, how you can do it organically. Um, but there's lots of different ways I can do that. I can do an incentive blog. I can do a video on certain parts of that. So it might be the same topic or the same message, but you do it in a different way.
mm. So basically, what I'm hearing is find your message, stick to it the best you can. Just keep pounding on it as long as
Yeah,
possible.
yeah. Because that's
That's a
true
hard.
to you. And
Yeah.
that's what you've got to do. Unless you've got, like you've got lots of different businesses.
It's hard for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Like, it's hard for me, and it's like it's quite boring, if I'm being frank about it. Like, because as an entrepreneur, I'm spinning up new ideas. I'm doing a lot of mentoring. So, I'm working with a woman that has a whole new educational framework that's going to it could disrupt the entire system. I'm excited about that, right? I'm excited to help her get the back end, and we're building all the financial models and so on. I'm excited about that, and I'm also excited about this WhatsApp application that's like basically a better WhatsApp for small business owners. I'm excited about that, and the mentorship stuff and the masterminds. It's all part of who I am,
yeah,
and it's actually very authentic to be speaking about those, but those are very different messaging, right? And I've often been told that that's really hurting me, in being effective, and I'm almost okay with it. I'm just kind of like, this is who I am. Maybe I'm not just in one lane. I got a couple lanes, but I mean, they're all the same to me. It's all small business, right? It's
yeah. But
like
you're
excitement.
also, you've got to think about it. You are, it all interlines. It's the tech side to make somebody's business easier. So
Mm-hmm.
they're actual, you're giving advice, but you're also giving them solutions how to make it simpler.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
are all interlined, they all connect
Mm.
at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Lisa, thank you. As we're getting to our end of time, I just want to tell people, if you want to reach out to Lisa, please reach out. It is Thriving. Let me just find the website here. It's thrivingbrand.com. And what is it on Instagram? Is it also Thriving Brand,
Thriving
Lisa?
brand, yeah. So Instagram's thriving brand.
Thriving Brand. And if you want to reach out to me and just let us know, where are you on your journey, on that branding journey? Do you need help with that? How can we be supportive to you? I know I have a lot of tools that I give away, to try to be supportive of people in their first year of business specifically. I love the first year of business. It's the most exciting when we get to build everything. I actually get bored with the end things. So, Lisa, thank you for being here. Anyone watching, thank you for being with us. Reach out to us. I answer all my messages personally. There's no AI bots, so you should be good with this. And thanks so much, Lisa. Have a great night,
Thank you.
everyone.